Welcome to The Good Life with Jessica Grace. Today, meet Preacha Tim, owner of Hood Hibachi in Memphis, and discover how his childhood love for Chinese cuisine inspired a unique culinary journey. Stay tuned for this inspiring story. Getting into just the conversation about your journey. You've got Hood Hibachi and it's just blowing up. People love your food. I can't wait to try it here in a minute. But before we get into that, just kind of tell us how you fell in love with this type of cuisine.
Oh, well, so growing up as a kid, I'm from the Orange Mill, Cherokee Heights area, and there is a Chinese restaurant there, and it's been there literally since I was a kid, and it's still there right now to this day.
Wow.
Called Ming's Chinese Cuisine, and it's right at the corner of Lamar and Sim. And so, you know, as a kid, you know, the first time I had it, my mom bought some home, and then after that, as I got older, my friends and I, we would actually walk up there from the neighborhood, and we would walk up to Ming's, and then we would leave there and go hanging out at Cherokee bowling lanes and all of that. And it went from that to learning other styles of Asian cooking, as far as Vietnamese and Japanese and Korean and all of that. And it just became something that I fell in love with.
That is incredible, incredible. So did you find yourself like trying out some of the food that you were tasting, you know, kind of trying to cook it at home?
You know, and not as a kid, and even in my early teenage years, it was more of a just eating it all the time. Like everywhere I went, I don't care where I was, no matter what side of town I was on, no matter what city or state I was in, I was always looking for an Asian restaurant. But then when I got in my early 20s, that's when I wanted to see if I could try cooking it, see if I could make it happen. Let me tell you, the first couple of times, the first few times that I tried it, it was horrible. Because I really didn't know the culture. I really didn't know the do's and the don'ts. I was just trying what I thought was it. And it was
like a cuisine mash?
It was a disaster.
Disaster?
Like, I mean, when I say a
disaster cuisine.
Yes,
that's
yes,
the new
it was.
style.
Yeah, I was like, no, this ain't gonna work. It's got to be another way.
But that's so good, and that's amazing that you were able to, you know, connect with something you love, find something you loved as a child, and really birth a business out of it.
Absolutely. And you know what? Believe it or not, my first day open for business, I started cooking on a pancake griddle. That my first day open for business, I was using a pancake griddle outside of my house. And I literally did so much business on the pancake griddle. The very next day, I had to move into the facility that we're in right now. The very next day.
That just talks about the influence you had and the unique product. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. But I love the fact that you have such a well-rounded background when it comes to, you know, all the different hats that you wear, pastoral ministry, and then being an artist, a music artist, and now an executive chef of your own restaurant. How do you balance all of the different hats that you wear?
Well, one of the things that I do is just be myself. You know, all of these things, I don't look at them as being who I am. I look at it as being what I do, you know, but underneath all of that, I'm going to always be Tim. I'm going to always be the silly, goofy, love to have a good time, just love life. I'm going to always be that Tim. And then I look at everything else is just a part of what I do. And I just try to make sure that everything I do, that I give it my all. I try to make sure that I'm putting the energy that's supposed to be into it, making sure that I'm always incorporating me. I don't want to give anybody anything that's not Tim.
Right.
So whether it's music, whether it's ministry, whether it's food or whatever, I want to make sure that I'm giving people Tim.
Right.
And that's easy to do as long as I'm who I am.
You are being yourself.
Absolutely.
And you're doing what you love.
Right.
I think that is so important for entrepreneurs. A lot of times we try to, you know, work in areas or build businesses in areas that we're really not passionate about.
Right.
Kind of speak to why you feel that your business, Hood Hibachi, has succeeded because of you being, you know, committed to exactly what you have to offer.
Well, number one, I think the main thing is remembering supply and demand. This was something that was taught to me in my early stages of college. Anytime you have a product, more of a product than the demand for that product, then you kind of run the risk of the business not doing what you want it to do. With that being said, being in the South, the South is known for food. It's known for cooking, but mostly known for Southern cooking. And as a result of that, we have Southern style soul food restaurants everywhere.
Right.
And so I wanted to be a part of something that created a lane for myself where I don't have to compete with other businesses. I don't have to try to do things to set necessarily myself apart from what they're doing. But being a Black Japanese chef, it put me in a lane of my own right out of the gate. So a lot of people, when they first heard it, it's like, okay, you got this Black guy doing Japanese cooking. People was like, okay, is this for real?
Right. Is it good?
Right, is it really good, or is this dude just doing something? And what happened was a lot of people started trying it out just to see if it really was what it was. And then once they tried it, it's like, wow, this dude really know what he's doing.
Right.
And so that made the word start to spread. And, you know, because like, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Can you, right off the top of your head, can you name 5 Black Japanese chefs?
No.
Exactly. So to put myself in a position where when you think of a Black Japanese chef, you can't think of nobody with Preacha Tim and Hibachi. You know. Now let me say this: there are some others that's doing it, and they're doing a great job doing it. You know, but we're still a few. It's not a lot of us. It's only a few of us, and so as a result of that, you know, I was able to just, you know, I'm able to take it where I wanted to go.
Right,
you know,
right.
Absolutely.
So it is important that businesses find their own lane.
Absolutely.
In order to be successful and not try to do what other businesses are doing, but find your specialty, right?
Absolutely. And because a lot of times where people mess up at is they see someone start a business and they see that business being successful, and it's like, oh, I want to try that. But if you already got 1 million people doing that, now you become a needle in a haystack.
Right.
You know, whereas when you start something that nobody else is really tapped into, then I kind of become a major part of the face of that particular category. And then what happens is when other people do start to catch on and say, hey, I want to do that too, I've already created such a name for myself that even if 1 million other people start to do it, people will say, but I still remember Hood Hibachi by Preacha Tim. So that's big.
So really you're blazing a trail.
Absolutely.
And you're creating a path for other people if they decide to go this way or if they just feel inspired to figure out what their niche is and going after that.
Yes. And then also, I think a big thing for me is I don't depend on my food to sell my food, if that makes sense. Because there's a statement that I heard growing up, and it sounded good at the time, but I think we shouldn't tell people this. And that is, if you build it, they will come.
Right.
And so, but what that does is that puts people in the mindset of thinking, well, all I have to have is a good product, and that good product is going to sell. But realistically speaking, you're not the only person with a good product. So now the question then becomes not what are you selling, but how are you selling it? So for us, the first thing that we did that took us to another level was the Hood Hibachi fortune cookies. So I have a company that makes my fortune cookies, and I tell them what I want said in the cookies. Now, if you're ever on Facebook and you type in Hood Hibachi fortune cookies, I guarantee you're going to see some viral posts because it's Hood, it's Memphis, you know, and then we even got some encouraging ones as well. You know, we take it spiritual. We put, you know, we incorporate ministry even in the cookies, you know, and so that took us to another level. But now, you know, we do a lot of reels. I do a lot of cooking reels on Facebook. That keeps the brand going. And now we're also working on Mr. Hood Hibachi, the animated cartoon series. So like all of these things is what makes the product go to another level. Yes, the food is good, but I don't want to just depend on that. I want an overall brand that people can say, man, it's an experience. People don't buy products. People buy experiences.
Right.
So I want to give people an experience where they say, man, I went to Hood Hibachi. I got a fortune cookie and that boy is crazy. You know, like that, to me, that's what makes it memorable.
That is beautiful. I love how you have added your own twist. You've added your personality into your brand.
Absolutely.
And that's powerful. You know, I speak with a lot of clients, a lot of businesses as a brand advisor. And I'm like, hey, like, where are you in what you're creating? You know, if this is a representation of you. So I am so, so proud of you. I'm over here really beaming. Oh my goodness. Because again, like, you know, as I was saying earlier, like, you and I, we connected as you were pastoring, you know, and I helped you, my company did, when it came to your marketing of your church. And when you were taking a more traditional path, you know, to church. And now, like, to just see that you've evolved into other areas, the music, I mean, it's all just so good. And you're a motorcycle rider, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're part of a motorcycle club.
Yeah, and that's where the name Preacha Tim comes from, actually. I joined, this was back in 2010, I believe it was. I joined the High Rollers Motorcycle Club.
High Rollers.
And when I first, shout out to the High Rollers. And when I first joined, they knew I was in ministry. And so they was like, well, what you going to call yourself? And at the time, I had not really given it any thought. So they said, well, we're going to call you Preacha Tim. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the ER off of it, and we're going to put an A at the end because, you know, you kind of hood and all of that. And so I just kept that name as a part of the brand. And so that name follows me everywhere I go.
That is so beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Preacha Tim.
I appreciate you.
I'm ready to try out this delicious cuisine. And
that you going to cook.
You know what? I was just about to say.
We're going to go get her an apron. And we're going to give her some ingredients, and we're going to show her how to do this the Hood Hibachi way.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
Do you have a business seeking a meaningful connection with a passionate audience? Consider becoming a sponsor of The Good Life with Jessica Grace. Align your brand with stories of hope, community, and inspiration. Reach out to an engaged audience through customized advertising opportunities, from on-air commercials to social media promotions. Visit our website now to explore a range of sponsorship opportunities and join us in making a difference. Be a part of the story that uplifts and inspires. The Good Life with Jessica Grace invites you to join us as a valued partner. Your support in any form helps us to continue creating content that enriches and warms the heart. As a partner, you're more than a viewer. You're a contributor to a narrative that celebrates beauty and positivity in our world. Your donation, large or small, makes a significant impact. Take a look at the screen for ways to become a partner today and help bring the good life to everyone.
All right, y'all, we are back right here. I'm Jessica Grace, your host, and I've got my friend here, my boy, Preacher Tim. Why am I saying preacher? It's Preacha.
That's why you got to put the A on there.
Preacha.
That's right.
Preacha, Tim.
Right.
And we're about to make some hood shrimp hibachi rice, right?
Absolutely. And I do want to emphasize that we're doing this the hood hibachi way. And just for the people that's watching so that you know, the hood hibachi way is we're actually taking some Chinese traditions and Japanese traditions, and we're combining them together to make a super dope fried rice.
Oh, okay, I love it. All right, so what do I have to do? And by the way, he's showing me how to do this. So y'all, be patient with me.
So listen, the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna turn the heat on.
Okay.
And that's right here. Now the first thing you gotta know is that the wok gets hot really quick.
Okay.
So we kind of have to, and that's one of the things about Japanese and Chinese cooking. You gotta keep the food moving because you can easily burn it. It don't take long at all.
Okay.
So the first thing you're gonna do is grab some regular oil and
Okay.
just put a few drops in there. There we go.
Okay.
And as you can see, the way the grease is moving, it's already hot. So we're gonna get us one egg in there. You want to crack one and I crack one?
Yes.
All right, let's go. There it is.
Look at
I told you. There it is.
Okay.
There it is. All right. So now what you want to do is a little bit of salt and a little pepper right there.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom. All right.
That's
And a
enough.
little bit of pepper. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Now start your, there it is. Now go ahead and scramble your egg on up there. Look at this.
Wait a minute. Do I need some cheese? No, let me.
Now I'm starting to think that you done worked at a hibachi spot or a Chinese restaurant before.
Because I know how to do it.
It seems like to me
I know how to scramble the egg.
you
Oh my
go and
God.
scramble it on up.
Okay.
There you go. You
Make
chop
sure
it
it's
up a little
done,
bit.
right?
And you want to chop it up a little bit just to kind of, so that it doesn't be too big. You want it to be in kind of small pieces.
Yeah.
There you go.
So they don't have eggs or rice with their eggs or eggs with their
But
rice.
you just don't want the egg to be too dominant in the whole thing.
Right.
All right, let's see. Chop it up just a little bit more, more. Now what you're going to do is give that to me.
Okay.
All right.
Man, this thing does get hot.
Yeah, it does. You need a towel to grab the handle on it?
I think I'm okay.
All right.
It's more so the steam.
All right. You give me that. Oh, that smells so good.
It does. You need the rest of it?
Yeah. All right, boom. Now we're going to turn the heat on just a little bit.
Okay.
I want you to grab this towel and just wipe your
the inside?
Down. Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, we got this. Boom. All right. Now you're going to put a little more oil in there.
Okay. And this was the oil?
No, this was the oil right there. Now we are going to use that oil in a second too. Boom.
Too
There
much.
it is. No, you're good. And then we're going to just kind of move it around so that it coats the wok really good. Now we're going to turn this heat back on. And then you're going to drop your shrimp off from there. Right there. There
right
you go.
here.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You hear that?
Yes.
I told you, I believe she'd have done it before.
And it's
I think she's full of
fresh.
it.
This is fresh shrimp, so you don't use frozen.
No. No.
I guess you can tell I cook with frozen shrimp at
Ain't
home.
nothing wrong with that, though. Ain't nothing wrong with it. So what we're going to do is we'll put a little more oil just to make sure that, all right. And now what you want to do is let them sit a few
It
seconds.
is a little hot, bro.
Yeah. Let them sit a few seconds so that they sear.
Okay.
Now in the meantime, let's do a little salt. There you go.
Is that enough?
A little bit more. You don't got high blood pressure. Do you? All right. And a little pepper.
I'm seasoning the pan.
Right. All right. So we're going to let those sear a few seconds. You don't need the pepper no more for right now.
Okay.
All right. Now you can kind of start to turn them over a little bit. You see that? You see how pretty it is?
Yeah.
Is that pretty?
It's beautiful. Woo. It's hot.
Yeah, it is.
That steam. How do you do this?
I have to do it every day.
Oh my goodness.
And sometimes the hibachi grill get even hotter than this.
Oh wow. So you have like a different type of a process that you do sometimes?
Yeah, when I'm doing my hibachi meals, I'm on the hibachi grill.
Okay.
Throwing it up with the spatula. You hear me?
What?
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna let these cook a few more seconds, and then we're gonna get those out too.
Okay. A little bit more
A
oil.
little more oil, just to make sure nothing is sticking.
Okay.
All right, we got this cooking.
So has your daughter tried your food?
Absolutely. Listen, my oldest daughter, for her, I think it was her 17th birthday. She's like, Dad, I want a hibachi party. So she invited her friends over to the house, and I had them outside, and I was cooking on the hibachi because they won't let me rest it out. So even when I'm not cooking, they like, Daddy, can you cook? So I have to cook all the time.
Wow.
All right, so our shrimp are ready. We're going to go ahead and put these in here. All right, and we're going to wipe it out one more time.
Okay. This is a fast process.
It is.
You got to be fast.
You got to be.
Working with this heat.
All right, so now watch this. Now we're going to do some more oil. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to drop the rice in there.
Okay.
You want to do it or you want me to do it?
You can do it.
All right. So we're going to just kind of stir that around a little bit. Boom, boom.
So now it's important to have your rice already cooked.
Yeah, so that's one of the key things to any type of Asian style cooking when it comes to rice is preferably it needs to be roughly a day old because you want to get as much moisture out of it as you can. Now there's
so that it's not soupy.
Right.
Okay.
And because if you don't do it right, it'll be gummy and mushy. And you don't want that. Now there is a workaround where you can use same day rice, but I'm not going to tell y'all that because that's a little hibachi way. But preferably you want to do day old rice, and you also want to make sure that you're washing the water intake. So typically for the way we do it, if I'm say cooking 20 cups of rice, I'm only using about 17 cups of water so that when it steams out, you don't want the rice to be extra wet.
Right.
All right. So we're going to get that going, and you want to keep it moving so that it don't get
too brown.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and get all of this other goodness in here. Now, start mixing it in together. You got to move
I'm getting too excited. I got to stay focused.
Well, yeah, you got to move it quick. Cause
I'm trying. It's hot. You go for it.
I got you. Boom. Right. I want you to do me a little favor here. So you pass me the salt?
Yes.
I'll let you do it.
Okay.
Boom. A little bit more. We ain't got high blood pressure. All right. And a little bit of pepper. Boom. All right. Now, check this out. Now, remember I told you that as we were doing this, we were going to incorporate a little bit of Chinese and Japanese, right?
Right.
So let's do it. Now we're going to do Japanese. That's garlic butter. Now I'm going to let you put that in there.
All of it?
In the middle. Yep, all of it. Boom.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be so good.
Oh, yeah. And there it is. All right, so we got the garlic butter in there. All right. Now, we're going to turn the heat down just a little bit. And now, see a little soy sauce right there.
Okay.
Boom. A little bit more. Boom. All right, there we go. Wow. There it is. All right, the next thing is, remember I told you we incorporate Chinese and Japanese. All right, give me a little bit of teriyaki.
Okay.
Boom. All right. Now, that sesame seed oil, give me a few drops in the middle. No, right there. There we go. There we go. Boom. All right. There we go.
Wow. And this speaks to our culture as African Americans. We add our own twist to things.
Absolutely.
So I love that.
All right. And then we're gonna top it off with some green onion. Let's go ahead and get that in there. Boom. All right. All right. Let's serve it up.
Ooh.
See what you think.
We made it. That fire is hot.
Oh yeah.
Listen.
And it don't take long. drop, no shrimp.
Oh my goodness.
Show them that and see how they like it.
It looks so amazing, y'all. Look at this. It looks so good. Yay.
So I think it's time we taste some of it.
I taste it. All right, brother.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Is that it?
It is so good.
Let's see.
Wow. That is delicious.
Oh yeah,
That's good.
you did that.
I did that.
I think it's time for us to go eat.
Let's go eat. All right. Well, thank you so much, Preacha Tim, for being here and for just showing me your amazing recipe, your style when it comes to cooking. I'm trying to get it out, and I'm not doing a good job. But I want to thank you so much for just taking the time to explain to our viewers, what your business is all about.
Absolutely.
Giving us an inside look at what you do.
Thank you so much.
And showing me how to cook some hood shrimp fried rice.
Absolutely.
Oh
Thank
my
you
goodness.
so much. It's been a pleasure. I promise you.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, for those who are watching who don't know how to connect with your business, will you please tell them how they can connect with Hood Hibachi?
Absolutely. So if you're on Facebook, you will go to Hood Hibachi by Preacha Tim. And remember, it's not an ER on there, it's an A. If you're on Instagram, you can look me up at Hood Hibachi _ Preacha Tim. And then if you happen to be in the Memphis area and you want to come and hang out, listen, give me a call, 901-563-1769. We're going to whip up some meals for you. Also, www.hoodhibachimemphis.com.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you so much.
Be a part of the story that uplifts and inspires. The Good Life with Jessica Grace invites you to join us as a valued partner. Your support in any form helps us to continue creating content that enriches and warms the heart. As a partner, you're more than a viewer, you're a contributor to a narrative that celebrates beauty and positivity in our world. Your donation, large or small, makes a significant impact. Take a look at the screen for ways to become a partner today and help bring the good life to everyone.